So today I brought Triple along. I haven't really done any clicker training at all with him because I haven't felt the need to, but I haven't needed to. Again, like I do with a lot of mine, he's loose, so he's disappeared for a moment. That's fine, I can get him back in a second. So I'm just going to go over today how I would start clicker training and how to make the connection between the click and the tree. I've actually got my mechanical clicker today, so I'll be using a tongue click, but you can kind of use any word. A clicker generally is better because it's short and it's sharp and it's always the same, so maybe start with that, but if you want to use something else later, then you can move it over. For him, he's not really, as you can see, I've got a pocket full of treats and he's buggered off elsewhere. He's not a big foodie, so I'm happy to do this without protected contact. There's a couple of ways to do it, and I will go over, this is sort of part one, or method one if you like, of how I would do it, but different horses, different means. So for him I'm using fibre nuggets or hay cobs, same sort of thing. If you've got something that's really foody, then you probably want to use protected contact, which I'll do in another video, and maybe use just something like hay. So I'm going to go and get him, and I'm just going to start, and I'll go through what I'm doing with him then. What I want is him to not mug me. Now, because he's going to lose interest quite quickly, I'm going to take every little thing that I can get. Can we go back a little bit? Back? So use a bit of bribery to get him down then. So he knows I've got sweeties. So naturally he's going to want to get them. I've got a few in my hand and obviously the rest in my bum bag. So as soon as he looks away or sort of goes into a neutral state is when I'm going to click and then give him the treat. And that might take a little while. A little. But I want to try and, because I don't want him to lose interest. You look away? He says, they're in there. You can't have any. You can, but not yet. So it's for him to kind of work out what I want him to do. Hello, gorgeous. And you can see how with a more food aggressive or pushy horse that this wouldn't necessarily be the right method to use. Good boy for them. So I'm making sure I'm feeding away sort of where I want him to be, so I'm not feeding in my pocket, because all that's going to do is reinforce the fact that he knows that there's treats there. So this will take, you know, again, depending on the horse, they might get it quite quickly. Triple's he's a bit of a slow learner, so he might take a while to understand what's going on. But it's just being persistent and just ignoring, you know, there's no bad bits. He's not doing anything wrong, he's doing what he thinks is the right thing to do, and I've got to show him what is the right thing to do. Good boy. So even though that was a horse sneezing that took his attention then, good boy. Good boy. I know. And okay, it's not ideal. I'm gonna feed him away from me. So again, I've got some in my hand, it's a little bit harder. I don't have the best bum bag for this because it's quite open, but you just ignore him. And this is where if you were doing protected contact, you could take a step away and take yourself out of that situation. Good boy. I prefer it if we were stood in a different way, but we'll take it. Right, I'm going to do a circle, come on. Let's line ourselves up a little bit straighter. So it's important you do this both sides anyway, so we'll stay on this side for now, as this is where we've been put. And this can be harder, say bum bag's on that side now, so I'm going to swap it round over here. I do have one in my hand, I'm going to put it in my other hand. And all this I'm just going to ignore. You know, he's not biting me, he's not being nibbly, he's just trying, good boy, to find where the treats are. And that's because in the past, you know, when people have treats in their pockets or when they can smell treats, they generally do this. And of course you get one out your pocket and you can tend to do that. Good boy, sorry, I did see you. Away, away. Good boy. So you can see it's starting to make a little bit of a connection now with, oh, this is what I need to do. Good boy. See, you don't need to look behind me. Good boy. Good. And what we want is for them to be relaxed around the food. So even if, good boy, they're maybe not in the position that you want, then you can still reward at the moment. If once you click, they kind of come back round to you expecting the treat, you can wait until they go back to where you want them to be. Good boy. So I'm going to wait. Good boy. And it's all about him learning that he doesn't have to worry that he's not going to get the food. The food's going to come to him. Good boy. You don't need to go all the way over there. Good boy. And just teaching him to stay nice and chill. Good boy. Chill around the food. And see, I'm always feeding away from me. And I'm not rushing. Good boy. To, no. Away. I'm not rushing to give him the treat. Good boy. You know, it's not. Good boy. It doesn't have to be immediate. Good boy. Good. I'm just going to swap sides in a second because we didn't actually get that much done on the other side. And at this stage, don't worry about how much you're giving him or them. Away. Good boy. Because the whole point is for them to realise that they are going to get their treat. Good boy. And if you're only giving crumbs, then that's not really that much of a reinforcer. If something like this is, good boy, is too much for them, then don't withhold how much you're giving them, but change the food you're giving them. So give them hay or something instead that they don't find maybe quite as exciting. Good boy. So you can see how he's picked up. You know, yes, he's still looking a little bit, which is okay and is normal. That's not doing anything. I know you think it is. Good boy. And as long as he's not looking and not in my pockets, I just want him at this stage, he's just learning that the bridging noise for me, the tongue click today, means he's done something right. And it's kind of a marking, good boy, a marking signal of, yeah, that was the right thing to do, which obviously going forward is really important, good boy. And also that he's going to get the treats and where he's going to get them and how he needs to react around getting the food. And that can always be the hardest part. And you know, you might have to do this for weeks and weeks, and you might have to use this as kind of your warm-up before you start doing other behaviours and stuff. But this is your real basic foundation behaviour, and it has to be really solid and really good. Good boy. Otherwise, when you start doing other things, you start to get a muggy horse again, and that's why a lot of people, good boy, get put off using treats, and it's because they don't teach the horses how to behave around food. And it's remembering how we should behave around food as well, and remembering to feed away from us. Mine only ever get treats when I'm working like this with them. I don't tend to treat them in the field or treat them over the stable door. Good boy. You know, they know that this is work effectively, and this is just their payment, and it's also a really easy way of getting across to them that that's the correct thing to do, rather than them second guessing themselves and not, you know, doing the right thing but maybe not getting a reward. So they try something different, and of course it gets frustrating then for both of you. Good boy. So I'm nearly out, so I'm going to do a little bit more. Good boy. But you can see he's stopped trying to get in my pockets. I'm going to come back around the other side again. I'm going to leave the bum bag here this time. That'll be a bit more difficult for him. So I've got my hand in it as well. Good boy. But you can see he's clicked of, oh, the treats are coming to me. If I just keep my head over here and stay chill, then I'm going to get my treats anyway. If I'm pushing around and being a bit bulshy, then I'm not going to get anything. And of course, as they get better, you can start to leave them a bit longer. You can ask them to wait longer before you give them their treats. Good boy. You know, there's lots of different ways to do it. And say this is just the one method. I will go over some other methods as well. So I don't want him to quite look away that sharply. I just want him to relax. Hello. Good boy, that's a little bit better. You got him? So what I'm going to do to finish, and to kind of mark that we finished, I'm going to do one more on the other side. Good boy. Good. And then I'm going to put a load on the floor, which you'll see me do before, and then I'm going to disappear to sort the cameras and stuff out. But that's kind of, I use that as a marker of, right, we've finished now, so I'm not going to ask him to do anything else. Yes, they're on the floor, you can figure that out. Hello, good boy. And that's my way of sort of saying to him, we finished working, good boy, and you can go and do your own thing now. Here they are. He doesn't always understand where they are though. Come on. There's a good boy. Okay, so I'll let him have those, and we're all done. And I'll keep doing that for, you know, a good few sessions before I worry about doing anything else with him. Although he's picked up quite quickly, I want to make sure that it's a really solid behaviour. They're all gone already. And if you have any difficulties going forward, you want to come back and do this. This is your kind of bog standard behaviour that should be really good. Good boy.